Diversity Awards reception. My name is Kelly Matsuyoshi. I'm an attorney at Perella Brown Martell, and I had the honor of serving as Barristers president this year. As you all know, 2020 has found us facing unprecedented challenges. From COVID-19 to issues of racial justice, we were really forced to change and adapt. And this Barristers Diversity Awards and the Barristers Diversity Conference that just wrapped up are really great examples of that change. Not only did we have to move everything online, but on our focus on diversity and racial justice. And so while I can't wait for the pandemic to be over, I'm thankful that it has forced us to change and think about what really matters. The murder of George Floyd and the racial awakening that followed was an important and we hope pivotal and long-lasting moment. The barristers have risen to these challenges through the Racial Justice Initiative, which put on 10 events in the past 5 months with hundreds of attendees. This effort will continue next year under the 2021 Barristers President, Jessica Ryland. And if you would like to help us brainstorm ideas, plan events, and get the word out, please let me know. But now, turning to the main event, the Diversity Awards. I am so pleased to highlight 2 Barristers members who have contributed so much to our community. The Barristers Diversity Award reflects an individual's efforts to increase awareness of diversity issues in the Bay Area legal community. While barristers are attorneys within their first 10 years of practice, it does not mean that we are not making and in fact often leading the effort on diversity. I truly believe that barristers, as the future of the legal profession, must be active leaders in this area. And so, it is my honor to introduce and present Kevin Benedicto with the 2020 Barristers Diversity Award. Kevin, if you want to join me on stage, feel free. Kevin is an associate at Morgan Lewis and is currently doing a 6-month fellowship at the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights, where he's working on their voting rights project. At LCCR, Kevin is involved in litigation and election protection efforts at this critical time where others threaten the democratic election process. However, what has impressed us most about Kevin is his dedication to criminal justice. In 2015, Kevin and his firm provided pro bono representation to the Blue Ribbon Panel on transparency, accountability, and fairness in law enforcement. In that work, he focused on use of force and officer-involved shootings. He was then invited to join VAST's Criminal Justice Task Force and has routinely presented to the VAST board on pressing criminal justice issues like body-worn cameras and the city's labor negotiations with the police union. For the barristers, Kevin assisted our Racial Justice Initiative, put on the Town Hall on Police Accountability, which brought together high-profile members of the San Francisco law enforcement community. On a personal note, I have known Kevin for many years and have always been impressed by his dedication and commitment to the community. Kevin and I were actually partnered together this year for the Asian American Bar Association's mentorship program, where I was assigned to be Kevin's mentor. That, I think, was a misnomer, as I learned just as much, if not more, from Kevin. And so it is with great pleasure that I present the Barristers Diversity Award to Kevin Benedicto.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I want to thank Kelly Matsuyoshi and the entire Barristers Club board for this honor. I know firsthand how many amazing lawyers in San Francisco are fighting for this cause, and I'm so humbled to receive this award today. I wanted to spend just a few minutes to express my gratitude and share my own experiences on the way diversity has shaped my legal career. The biggest lesson that I have learned is that you have to continuously cultivate diversity for yourself and for those around you. It is not a single achievement or training or a task to check off and complete. It is constant and continuous work that should permeate every part of an organization and every individual. I see the process of cultivating diversity on a few different levels. First, cultivating diversity in your immediate circle. I've been so fortunate to have had tremendous diverse mentors in my career. Mentors like Joan Haratani, Michelle Park Chu, Roland Chippy, Lucy Wang, and Kelly Matayoshi, who introduced me today, just to name a few. These mentors have provided amazing opportunities for experience and advancement and given me invaluable guidance on how to navigate this profession as an attorney of color. In fact, if it wasn't for Michelle Park Chu and Lucy Wang, I would never have started my work with BASF on criminal justice reform, which is what connected me to Kelly, which is ultimately what brought me here today. These mentors have been champions and advocates for me and many others. Second, cultivating diversity in your broader community. Encouraged by my mentors, I've always looked for opportunities to advance diversity in our Bay Area legal community. I have found amazing opportunities working with the Bar Association on criminal justice issues, with the Asian American Bar Association on police reform and civil rights, and other community organizations that help promote diversity in the profession. I've also served as a member of my firm, Morgan Lewis's local hiring committee, and actually get to play a role in shaping the future composition of our office and our firm. And I'm so glad that I looked for those opportunities to cultivate diversity in the broader legal community. Third is cultivating diversity in your practice. Whether through pro bono representations or otherwise, find ways to advance the cause of diversity in practice. For me, the biggest example of that is when I was recently selected by my firm to do a voting rights fellowship with the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law. The Lawyers Committee does tireless and critical work advocating for communities of color, and I've already been privileged to help out and play a small part in such amazing work on voting rights and election protection. Before the general election, I assisted on litigation to extend the voting registration deadline in Virginia by 72 hours after a power outage knocked down the registration website. And in those 72 hours, 24,000 people registered to vote. On election day, I was part of teams that helped monitor polls and organize field workers and volunteers of over 1,000 attorneys across the country to ensure that people, especially communities of color, had their voting rights protected. And in this seemingly endless post-election period, I have worked on litigation to combat the multiple post-election legal efforts to disenfranchise minority voters in Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and more. If my law firm hadn't offered this opportunity, and I hadn't applied for it on the advice of my colleagues and mentors, I would not have had this once-in-a-lifetime chance to help the cause of diversity nationwide and defend voting rights in this critical election. Ultimately, the takeaway for me, and I hope for everyone, is to be alert for opportunities to continuously cultivate diversity wherever you can. Not just in formal diversity initiatives, trainings, or conferences like this, but everywhere in your community, your practice, and your professional networks. And in fact, if anyone today specifically wants to learn more about ways to get involved with the efforts or organizations I've mentioned here, whether it is with the Lawyers Committee on Election Protection or the Bar Association on Criminal Justice, please look me up and reach out. I am more than happy to connect with you and discuss further. Thank you all again. Thank you to the Barristers Committee for this incredible award, and enjoy the rest of the reception.